Leaders, are you struggling? Are you stuck? You may be sticking to your old identity much too long. Are you adapting to the change? Are you learning how to lead? I'm seeing that so many people that have been leading for a long time think that their early success or their success for a long time is the reason and why they continue to do the same thing. And I'm here to tell you that if you don't change, if you're not constantly looking at innovation or taking feedback on where you've made mistakes and bring in people to share what they know and how they could make things better, I think you're going to lose ground. And I, quite frankly, think your leading days may be coming to an end. You see, since I started my business when I was 28, I've wanted to make it the best place to be if you're in the mortgage space. It wasn't about making more money, although I wanted more money. It wasn't about owning something and being in control, although I wanted to own something and build something of mine, and I wanted certainly some control. I did it because, and I learned very soon once I started it, that I had pride in it and I wanted it to be better than everybody else. And so I set out to do that. And I was really fortunate to learn this at a real young age, that my skills are minimum, very few things. I used to think I was good at a lot of things, and I was pretty good at a lot of things, but there are people that are better, and I'm great at just a couple things. And the longer I went, the longer our company went on, the more I realized that I needed to do less and be better at it and bring in better folks that are significantly better at what I do. And I've learned that lesson most recently. So here we are, going on our 37th year. Most companies don't last a year or two. They certainly don't last 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Our industry, they dropped like flies in 2008, and we went really breezing through. And I'd like to say it was because of me. And I can say with 100% certainty that it wasn't. I think one of the things that I've been lucky with and a little skilled is I'm a good judge of character. Even though I've made plenty of poor hires, it was because I was disconnected from what I wanted to build or wanted to step away from things and deal with personal issues that I was dealing with. But for the most part, our company has grown because we've had just an abundance of amazing people. Early on, we got lucky because when I started Partners in the late 80s, many of you weren't even born yet, there was this S&L crisis occurring, and S&Ls were getting the majority of mortgage business. And I had an opportunity, because we were brand new, to bring on some really good loan officers. It was luck. We were the third company in the country to actually have computers. Those didn't exist in mortgage brokerage shops in 1988. And the only reason that happened is because Scott Cooley, who created Contour Software, the first LOS that I could recall. There were proprietary LOS systems, but was 3 doors down and brought it in. We had computers at our desk, and so when people coming from an S&L, our mortgage company looked very upscale and professional, and we attracted some of the best in the industry very early on, and our company went through the roof in its first 3 or 4 years. And my partner at the time suggested we hire a consultant They didn't have coaches back in the early 90s. So in 1989, I believe, we hired a consulting company, husband and wife team up in San Rafael, that turned us into a loan company to a real business. They helped put in systems and procedures and helped create values and principles, and talked a lot about vision and who we're becoming. And that's when we became a real company. So lesson number one that I want to impart on everybody as they're sitting here just stuck or struggling now is to take a step back and make sure you're structured for where you want to go. And I think the mortgage industry has it's been so great because you can make an unbelievable living doing it. But I think once you start making money and your ego starts getting a little bit bigger, you start thinking you know what you're doing, and many people don't. They just have some loan officers that get a lot of loans when rates go down, and they struggle and get stuck when rates go up. And when we started back in '88, rates were up here, and they've had some blips, but they have just slowly gone down all the way until just a couple of years ago when they shot up. They had bumps along the way, but in the whole scheme of things, it's been a drop, and that's why mortgage companies have flourished. And the ones that had some really good people and, more importantly, had strong values that they lived by did very, very well. But most of them, I can't count on one hand the number of companies that started in '88 or prior to '88 that are standing the same way they were back in '88. There were mergers and acquisitions and changes in ownership and things like that. We're for the most part the same. And so step number one is step back and really decide who you want to be. And I think it's really important to be honest about that. If it's about the money, it's about the money. But I can assure you that if you're focused on the money and you're focused on cutting expenses and limiting what you pay great people, if you do operate like that, to make sure, because you're always watching the bottom line, because a good leader is watching the bottom line. But if that's your thinking mentality, that's not the long game. You might survive this market, but it's not playing the long game. I've seen some very, very good leaders very recently react to a very challenging market and struggle internal times by just focusing on getting rid of expense so much that they lost a bunch of really good revenue. And it's absurd to me that the focus on trying to save $1,000 here, when I mean, I can go off on a tangent, but I think the most important thing for a leader is to just know where they're going and what they're building and stay consistent with that. And if you're not sure on how to do it, if you're a younger leader, seek out help. There are phenomenal coaches now, and maybe some consultants still, but there's a lot of help. There's a lot of places to find answers. Building Champions is Daniel Harkavy is a coach that I had very early in my career, and Daniel was growing his company at the same time. And so, man, we were learning together, and those were really good times. And it's really when we became the heart of our organization. And that was, just great help to our organization, because Daniel taught not just, actually, he didn't teach systems and procedures to me. He taught more of who we are and who we wanted to be and stay loyal to our values, and talked me through a lot of people things. And I mean, I can go on and on. An amazing man. And again, it's because of guys like him, because of our consulting firm earlier. The Duncan Group early, we were lucky to have them come in once a month when companies couldn't afford them. We figured out a way to bring them in and share expense with some of our wholesale lenders, and back in those days, title companies. And we were able to bring in the best of breed coaching once a month, bring our branches together. They helped form really a culture, kind of who we were about. And they were about sales and relationship building. And the Duncan Group was really pivotal for our success as well. But I went a little sideways there. So who are you going to be? So step back. So to get unstuck. It's a matter of seeing the big picture. Now define, okay, who are you? What are your values? What are things that you're not going to violate? And what happens, and our consultants told us this early, is we write down our values and we throw them on a wall, but we don't live them. And I definitely have done that for many of the 37 years. Where we sit right now, 35, 36, and 37 years old as a company, bringing in Leif Boyd, who has done just a phenomenal job at running day to day for us. And I just love the partnership we have. What he's done that I haven't seen others do is take our values and really pull them more into the fabric of our company. And we talk about our values in most every meeting. We have awards for values every month. We don't violate. We've had conversations where we're considering something, and one of our leaders talks about, does it violate a value? And sometimes it does. Our values are integrity, relationships, solutions, diligence, and well-being. Well-being is one that's really close to my heart, but they're all equally as important. Well-being means, which is my number 3, so once you kind of know where you're going and spend time on it, it's your vision, right? It's a clear vision. Who am I and where am I going? What values do I have? What am I going to stay close to my heart? What I'm not going to violate no matter what, whether I'm selling mortgages or whether I'm selling hamburgers. These are the values. These are the tenets of our organization. For me, kind of the next step is realizing, okay, who are your customers? And again, in this long history we've had, early on, we thought it was realtors. I think initially, I think it was realtors. And they were our customers. We need to go out and build relationships with realtors because they have the ability to send us business. So we all moved around realtors, and at one point it became our loan officers. For many years, we defined our customer as the loan officer because we wanted to attract better loan officers. What about the realtors? Well, loan officers will take care of realtors, and loan officers will get business from builders and their databases and so on. So it was our loan officers that became our customer. And then many great support staff said, so we have to cater to our loan officers. And for a while there, we said, yeah, they're who brings in the business. But at some point, I had an aha moment and realized that, no, our customer, everybody's our customer. Everybody's customer, and I'll share my thoughts on that in a second. But it's the person getting the loan. It's the home buyer or the homeowner that's going to refinance their loan. That's their customer. That's our customer. And if we could do everything, and our mission is to wow them, if we could do everything in our power to blow them away with exceptional care, that's going to reflect well on our company, well on the realtors that referred them in, extremely well on the loan officers and the support team. And our business has grown because of that significantly over the years. It's just getting everybody focused on one thing. A processor doesn't want to say the loan officer is the customer. Like, what am I? Am I any value? And we just came to the realization that, man, we got to take care of our borrower, or our business simply doesn't grow. And so there's all sorts of sales rally in this industry, and realtor events, and we got to kiss these people's asses and these people's asses, and yeah, there's all that, because partnerships are critically important. But if we don't take care of that borrower, none of it's going to work. So that's been defined as our customer from for many years now, and we have thrived because of it. It is our mission. And part of our mission statement includes we're a team. That's our one goal, is to wow our customer, and we're a team to do this. And then really over the last 10 years, and it's our tagline now, is you matter, because the realization is everybody matters. And when I go back to the original Partners Mortgage days, is that everyone does matter. In my, like, I want everybody to think we're the best company. So I want every employee to feel loved and cared for, and have opportunity to grow and feel well compensated, and have fun with who they work with, and have joy outside of the office. Like, all those things are so important to me, and always have been. I can go back to the early 90s and talk about trips and things we've taken, and parties we've had, and celebrations, and highlights for not just loan officers, but other team members that have excelled. And it's important. And there were days where we'd bring in a loan officer who would, slam the phone down and be pissed off at a lender who didn't, and basically threaten the lender with, "You're not going to get my business anymore," or do that with appraisers or title companies. And that just was not tolerated at our company. So I'm not saying any of this to brag. I'm sharing our story of what's made us successful, but in hopes that you as a leader can kind of assess your situation and see where maybe you can put some of these principles in. I know a lot of you say everybody matters, but are your decisions with the thought that they matter? Because they do, right? They matter, their families matter, our wholesale lenders matter, our funding department matters, our loan officers matter, our realtors, financial advisors, our entire leadership team, and our borrowers. Like, they all matter if we're going to be in this game a long time. Man, I'm 66, 65, I'll be 66 in a couple months, and I've got no desire of leaving, because we're having so much fun. And there's just so much more to do. So once you figure out who your customer is, and you have your values, kind of along on that same line, it's really defining your principles, like what you're going to stand for and what you're not going to stand for. We terminated our number one loan officer at one time because of fraud. That could be to be a gray area. In my mind, it's black or white. There's no fraud. So if you could lose your license over it, or go to jail over it, clearly we do things right, and have drawn a line in the sand. So define your principles. I don't do well with people late to meetings. One of our things is be on time and say please and thank you. And it's just it's important that that's who we become, which all this stuff contributes to our culture. The culture is the differentiator between our company and any company down the street. We all have processing systems. We all have loan officers. We all get business from kind of different places. But the business is the same for everybody. And the differentiator is our culture. There are companies that could be more fun. There are companies that could be more advanced technology-wise. There could be, it's across the board. But where we differentiate ourselves, I believe, is that everybody realizes they matter, now more than ever. So there are a lot of people that are 50 and older that have been in this business, that have been laborers working real hard, that now, and this is the main point of my talk of getting unstuck, is to not stay loyal to who you were. So for me, it's not the easiest thing to always do, but it's letting go of some control and decision making, and allow great people to come into the organization that where they didn't have an opportunity before, and feel like they're starting at the ground floor, because what we've become is we've become this startup at 35 years old. So for the last 2 years, I shifted it into startup thinking. What can we create? There's tech coming so fast at us. There's AI. There's a lot of people saying that AI is going to replace humans. Not with us. So we've got a specific strategy. We're humans at heart, and we're using technology as the accelerator, and that's how we're playing this game. And if I think back at the number of times over the last 30 some odd years that our days were numbered because of something, I would have shut down a long time ago. I mean, .com was going to put us out of business. Realtors starting mortgage companies in-house were going to put us out of business. No-qual loans going away. Certainly the subprime bubble, like all these areas where, lenders like us weren't supposed to survive, and we've thrived, and I'm very confident we're going to thrive even more, because we've got people that have been in this business a long time that are now seeing an opportunity to shine like they never have before, who buy into our values. We share our values. Kind people. We're not throw the fist down, do this or you're gone kind of people. I hear just arrogance on social media. You see all kinds now of work at our company, I'm going to make you millions and all that bullshit. In this industry, you're going to make a lot of money, no question. But you want to go somewhere where they actually care about you, and are there to support you, and build systems around to support you, not just the loan officers, but everybody. And so kind of that brings me to how do you treat people that matter? Well, you got to find something to celebrate about them. Celebrate successes. You don't just celebrate the top originator or top closer. You celebrate people for different accomplishments, setting personal bets, fastest processing, best customer care. We're rolling in all kinds of new things too that I can't wait to share with you. But the point of this entire video is to get you unstuck, because the last 3 years in the mortgage space, and I guess I'm like leaning towards mortgage people, but really in any industry, if you're stuck, it could be because you haven't changed your identity. You haven't changed what you were once good at and once worked, and accept that the time, the world, the generations, the workers, everybody, the customers, everything's changed. So to think that the things you used to do are gonna work, I think you're out of your mind. And if you want to get unstuck, and if you want to not struggle anymore, just let the guard down and get help. Put your ego aside a little bit. And that's only if you want your company to thrive and go on. If you're just trying to hire as many people as you flipping can because rates are going to come down, you want to sock in a bunch of money and you don't care about the well-being of anybody that works for you, or if customers get pissed off and give you 1-star reviews. If you don't care about that because you're just, let me make as much money as you can and we'll say sorry later, this video serves no purpose for you. Because you can do that. You can. You could make a whole bunch of money, make a whole bunch of enemies, no legacy to speak of. I see people, younger guys that have built large companies which I'm not going to lie, I envy at the way they've been able to grow nationally. But I see bickering online and egos, and it's just a trip to see these young guys think they're something special. They're just owners of mortgage companies, man. It's to have a reputation that you've treated people unkindly, or that you've got some power trip, or that you're a better human being than them because of something. I don't get it, but there's times where I want to jump in and get involved, but then I wise up and realize I don't want to waste my time. But I feel like I can help these guys like get out of their own way. They're competing on the wrong thing, in my opinion. But I think that's why we're around for 37 years, and I think why we're going to be around significantly longer, with God's help and a little bit of luck along the way. So I invite you to reach out to me. There are many other things as to what I can help with in terms of building a company that's sustainable and where people like you and want to work for you. So leaders, hang in there. Things are going to get better. They always do. And if you like, click it, message me. Love to see you again.